Fred again. It kind of sounds like a forgotten email password, right? So how does an artist with a name like that become an absolute global phenomenon? Today, we're going to dive into the incredible rise of Fred again and how he pretty much rewrote the rules of modern stardom.
So that's the big question we're tackling. How did this guy, Fred Gibson, making what's basically deeply personal, lo-fi electronic music, sad dance music, become a stadium-selling superstar seemingly overnight? Let's break it down.
A huge piece of the puzzle starts with this number. We're talking tens of millions of views for his legendary Boiler Room set. Now, if you've seen it, you know this wasn't just a DJ set. No way. It was a cultural moment. A viral explosion that took him from being a respected producer to a genuine global icon. But here's the thing that's kind of wild. Before all the solo fame, he was like a secret weapon in the music industry. He was the behind-the-scenes architect of 12 UK #1 hits for massive artists like Ed Sheeran, George Ezra, and Stormzy.
And now? Now he sells out venues on this scale. 80,000 tickets, gone in a flash. This level of demand seems to completely contradict the intimate, personal sound he's known for, right? It's a paradox. So how did we get here?
To really get it, we've got to rewind the clock. We need to go back to the beginning and look at the hidden forces and the secret apprenticeship that shaped his totally unique artistic identity. The first clue to his success is this core paradox. It's like there are two Freds. On one hand, you've got the aristocrat, descended from British nobility, went to one of the most elite schools in the country. But on the other hand, you have the artist, the guy who is obsessed with the raw, lo-fi, deeply relatable sounds of everyday life captured on a grainy iPhone.
And maybe the most crucial influence of all came from his family's neighbor, who just happened to be the legendary producer Brian Eno. This wasn't just a casual friendship, it was an intensive, multi-year mentorship. At 16, Fred was literally making tea for Eno's a cappella group in exchange for lessons. And Eno taught him a fundamental, game-changing lesson, that any sound, even the hum of a room, could be music. So after years of producing hits for other people, it was Eno who saw that Fred was kind of hiding his own artistry. He sent him this simple text message. And that text, well, it became the catalyst. It pushed him from the producer's chair right into the solo spotlight as Fred again.
All right, so with that push from his mentor, he created his signature project, Actual Life. And you got to understand, this wasn't just another album. It was a radical new way of making music that would end up connecting with millions of people all over the world.
The concept itself is just genius. Instead of a polished studio, his main instrument became his iPhone. He called it a collaborative diary, capturing the messy, authentic sounds of real life, voice notes, Instagram clips, FaceTime audio, and treating them not as demos, but as the final, finished material.
And this really breaks down his formula, his sonic DNA. He builds tracks from the grainy texture of those found sounds. He anchors them with these ambient drones. Think of it like a warm layer of sound he creates from everyday noises. Then he processes the vocals with heavy compression to give you that incredibly close, right in your ear feeling of a real voice note. And it's all laid over these stuttering, human-feeling rhythms that he drums out himself.
This unique sound helped define a genre that fans and critics are calling emotional house. It's music designed for catharsis, not just for partying. The structure often feels like a wave of anxiety that builds and builds until it just crashes into this euphoric release. Yeah, it's pretty much music for crying in the club.
And remember, this music was released during the pandemic, so these songs hit with incredible force. Maria literally took a FaceTime call about losing the ability to go dancing and turned it into a universal anthem for lockdown grief. He turned a stranger's words of encouragement into a global mantra of resilience. He has this magic ability to make these specific, personal moments feel like they belong to everyone.
But look, a great formula isn't enough to explain his rise. The next piece of the puzzle is his revolutionary approach to marketing, which honestly is less about selling and way more about building a community.
His whole playbook is anti-marketing. He avoids traditional promotion. Instead, he's using private channels like Discord to talk directly to fans. He announces pop-up shows with almost no notice, creating intense scarcity and FOMO. His social media is just a raw documentation of his life, and he famously makes fans a part of his story. It's not an ad, it's an invitation.
And this chart visualizes the strategy perfectly. He flips the traditional marketing pyramid on its head. Traditional media is a low priority. Public social media is a tool, but the real value is in direct messaging.
And that's so powerful because in a world of algorithms, a direct message feels like a real conversation. It creates an in-group, a secret club that everyone wants to be a part of.
So the crucial point is this. All of these tactics work together to create something that feels less like a fandom and more like a friendom. People don't feel like consumers of a product, they feel like participants in his journey. They're part of the story.
And this brings us to right now, the present day, where the architect of intimacy is facing the ultimate challenge: scale. Here is the central tension of his career today. His entire brand is built on the feeling of a whisper, of small rooms, secret shows, and personal connection. But the reality is that he's now headlining the world's biggest festivals and selling out massive stadiums. So how does a brand built on a whisper survive in a venue where you have to shout?
And we're already starting to see a shift in the music itself. His latest work is moving away from that raw, diary format. It's more polished, with more traditional song structures. And while fans still adore it, some critics are starting to feel it's losing that accidental lo-fi magic that made him so special in the first place.
And this really illustrates the final question that's going to define his next chapter. It's the ultimate test for an artist who brought the world into his bedroom studio, leaving us all to wonder, can the guy from the voice notes remain the same person on the world's biggest stage?